Good afternoon, dear students. I hope all are fine. So again we are back to our classes. The previous classes we already conducted 2-3 classes. The classes we already explained what do you mean by computer application. In 9th standard what we are going to study, what are the major concepts we are going to study, the syllabus and all we already explained. So today we are going to learn about introduction to object oriented programming language. So that is in computer world this is the major part. That means without computer programming language we cannot do anything. That means every application, the base of every application will be programming language. We already know software. So what do you mean by software? Software is different kinds of softwares we are seeing. But how the software will be working, who is developing the software, how to develop the software, we don't know, isn't it? So we are getting software some different sources, we are getting it and we are using, and we don't know how to use it or how to develop it, who develop it, that and all we don't know. So how to develop the software, we are going to study this only. Then by the use of programming language, we are going to learn how to developing a software. The concept and the intention of the programming language will be to developing a software. Then after completion of the 9th standard class, you students, you are able to develop your own softwares and all, isn't it? So we come back to our lesson. The first chapter of 9th standard computer application will be Introduction to Object Oriented Programming Language. Okay. So in the object oriented programming language, in this lesson we are going to study what do you mean by computer programming language, what do you mean by computer program, what do you mean by algorithm, what are the major part of the programming concept, how to develop a software, what are the kinds of softwares, that and all we are going to learn in this chapter. Okay. The first we can consider computer programming language. So before going to explain the computer program, first we should know what do you mean by programming language. So programming language is nothing but it is used to develop write a program for a computer to perform a particular task, isn't it? So with the help of computer program only, so language is used to write a program. Then what do you mean by computer program? Computer program is a set of instructions. So set of instructions means the example will be, we are getting a one question, particular subject we are getting a one question, we are writing 2 or 3 sentence answer. So these 3 sentence answer, combining it together, it is called as answer, isn't it? So the 2 or 3 sentence answer you should write means you should write 3 sentence answer, isn't it? So if you write one word means it is not a 3 sentence answer. That means a group of words and a group of sentence will be formed a particular answer. So that is example for the computer program. So computer program is a number of statements, commands, keywords. That means a lot of commands we are using or statements we are using. These all commands it will be combining it together. It will be formed a computer program. This commands is known as instructions. So each and every commands or instruction of a computer program is having their own writing methods or syntax will be there. While writing the program, we should follow this, isn't it? So how to write the program, how to follow the steps and all. If you wanted to write, we need to learn any one kind of programming concept, isn't it? So this object oriented programming concept only one methodology of the programming language, isn't it? So more than one will be there. So the major 2 kinds of programming language will be object oriented programming and procedure oriented programming languages. So first we have to explain what do you mean by procedure oriented programming language. So before going to explain the procedure oriented programming, how the computer will be able to understand the user language. So we already know everyone is using computer, isn't it? So while using the computer, you people, did you think about whether computer will be able to understand what input we are going to give? So what do you mean by input? Through any input devices, what are the content we are going to give to the computer, that is known as input. Through keyboard will be the different kinds of input mediums are that you already know. Previous classes are not, you already studied it, isn't it? So through keyboard, what are the things you are entering to the computer, that is known as input, isn't it? So before that we just think it whether the computer will be understand or not. Definitely computer does not understand anything because computer is an digital electronic machine. They won't understand anything exactly like other electronic devices. They understand only the electric pulses, isn't it? So So to compare with the other electronic devices, some difference will be there in the computer, because computer is a two-way interacting machine. For example, user can interact with the computer and the computer also will be giving the result to the user. But other electronic machines, they won't give like that, isn't it? Then computer, how they are able to understand? So we are typing our name, but computer doesn't know the person who is sitting in front of the computer, isn't it? So when we are typing our name, easily within fraction of seconds the computer will be able to understand the name will be this one, and we are also able to see through the output medium. Then how the computer will be able to understand the user will be entering the name or the spelling or any alphabets or whatever it is, isn't it? So in between something will be happening. So that is known as a processing. So what do you mean by processing? What are the things we are giving to the computer that will be processed by the central processing unit? After processing the data, it will be sending to the output medium. Through output medium only we are seeing all those things, isn't it? So the next step, how the computer will be able to understand the content. So in between some mediator will be that already explained. So how it will we can see. So computer can understand only two things. So that is known as a 0 or 1. This 0 or 1 is called as a binary numbers. So bi means 2 only, isn't it? So 0 and 1, all the electrical based or electronic based devices will be considered 0 and 1. That means current, electrical current. Only two concepts will be there, 0 and 1. So 0 is indicating false, 1 is indicating true, isn't it? The switch, electrical switch, when you switch on, the current will be passing under the relevant electronic devices, it will be working like fans, light or whatever it is. So when you switch off, it will be stopped, isn't it? So the gate concept, that is a computer digital electronic concept it is. So 0 is indicating off, 1 is indicating on. Only computer can understand this concept, isn't it? Then how the computer will be able to understand the numerical value, what we are entering, or spelling or alphabets, whatever it is. In between, one translator they are using, isn't it? So that means the user, in between the user and the computer, there is a one translator. So the translator will be doing all those things. So we are giving the computer, we are giving the data to the computer. After giving the data, the translator will be accessing the data. The data should be converted to computer understanding format. That means it's a binary format. Then after converting the binary format, computer will be able to understand, the user will be entering this content only, isn't it? So after converting, that will be get processed. The processed data again will be converting to user understanding format. That only we are seeing through the monitor, isn't it? So that is called as that work will be done by the translators. Different translators we are using while using the programming languages and all. Okay. So the next concept will be computer program. We already explained the algorithm. So each and every computer programming language, before going to learn the programming language, we should know the basic concept of programming language. So each and every programming language basic concept will be known as a algorithm. So what do you mean by algorithm? Algorithm is a step-by-step execution of a given problem. So we already know mathematics, everyone will be doing mathematics. So once if you get one problem in mathematics, how to solve the problem? For example, quadratic equation or trigonometric functions whatsoever. Okay. So if it is a quadratic equation, we are getting one formula. One expressions, mathematical expressions we are getting. So after getting the mathematical expression, the relevant formula we are going to apply the expression, and step by step we are solving, and each step is having their own answer will be there, and finally we are getting the answer, isn't it? So this methodology is known as an algorithm. So if you get one problem, first we should elaborate the problem. First we should elaborate the problem. After elaborating the problem, we should find out what are the major part of the problem. That should be write in a step by step. For example, write one simple example or simple algorithm. Simple mathematical, it's a basic mathematical concept will be addition, subtraction, multiplication, that we already know, arithmetical operations. So if we wanted to add any two numbers, in the normal case what we will do? So we already know, if you wanted to add numbers, we need minimum 2 numbers, isn't it? So any 2 numbers we are taking, for example 5 and 6. 5 and 6 we already know, we will count and write the answer. 5 and 6 equal to 11. So that is a manual processing. The same problem if you are applying to the computer or writing an algorithm method, how to write. First we should directly, it is not possible to find the answer. First we should write the start. Before going to implement problem or before going to explain any problem, first we should start. That start is important, isn't it? So example will be, if you wanted to work with the computer, if you are going and sitting in front of the computer, means there is no use. First we should switch on the computer, power should come, you have to start the computer. Start is important, isn't it? After giving the start option, the next step will be what you are going to do. That means if it is the addition of 2 numbers we are using, means any 2 numbers. Any 2 numbers directly we are not giving numbers. The numbers should be stored somewhere else. That's called as a variables. For variables we can use any kind of alphabets, isn't it? So any alphabets we can use. That is a representation like quadratic equations or Boolean expressions and all we are using, A, B, C or X. Some variables we are using. So like that, while writing the algorithm to representing a value or result or calculation or whatever it is, we are using variables. That variable is a type of alphabets. So here addition of 2 numbers. This is simple algorithm only. How to write the algorithm, how to show the step-by-step execution. So 2 numbers we are taking. The 2 numbers representation I just consider as A and B. So that is input value. So A is represented by first number, B is represented by second number. So these 2 variables are any numbers we can add, isn't it? So after giving, so this second step of the algorithm is known as the input section. Input the value, that means the inputting value. So inputting value should be stored to somewhere else. That is called as a variable. That variable we can consider any alphabet, isn't it? So after applying the variable or after considering the variable, the next step will be calculation, isn't it? So calculation means A and B is a 2 different value. We need the addition, isn't it? 2 different value we mentioned, but we are not getting the answer. If you wanted to get the answer, first we should give the request to the computer, should add it. These 2, the requested variable should be added and display the result. So the next step will be processing the data. So that is a calculation. So calculation, so A and B you should be added and the result should be stored somewhere else. So the step will be C equal to A plus B. C equal to A plus B, it is a type of mathematical expression. So considering mathematics, this is some difference will be there. Usually we are considering A plus B equal to C, but the computer never accept A plus B equal to C. That is a wrong expression. Computer should be understand only this expression. Why? Because before storing the result, we should provide the space where it has to be stored. After providing the space only, we are going to store the value. Isn't it? That's why the destination space we have to provide. After providing the destination space, we should do the calculation. That means the output will be C. C is an empty variable equal to A plus B. So suppose A equal to 6 and B equal to 5 means the total answer will be 11. The final answer we will get C equal to 11. Isn't it? Then after calculation, display the output. Display the output C. So this is one algorithm. This is one algorithm. This algorithm, see how many steps are there? Start giving input. That means 2 input value. After inputting, the inputted value should be added. That is a calculation. After calculation, the result should be stored somewhere else. After storing the result, that should be displayed to somewhere. That means through any display medium like output medium, we can store it. After that, you have to stop the algorithm. How many steps over? The same problem, if you are doing manually, within 1 or 2 seconds it will be finished. So the teacher will be telling you should add 5 and 6. You already know 5, 6. Total we will get 11. And within seconds we will complete it. That is only small values. So scientific problems and all, if you wanted to store means the manual processing is very difficult. So that we are going to depending on the computer program. So computer program we are writing and saving in the computer. Whenever we need, we are executing. After executing, the exact and accurate result we are getting. So that is advantages of computer programming, isn't it? So while doing the manual, sometimes the variable will be missing or some error will be missing. Sometimes we are unable to find the answer. Sometimes we are unable to simplify it. So many problems will be there. But the same problem, if you are computerizing, means we are just giving the formula and how to solve the concept we are giving to the programming. The computer will be do all those work. They are simplifying, they are finding the errors, they are recovering, everything will be done by the computer program. We will get the final exact answer. That's why nowadays everyone is depending on computer. So if you are seeing outside in the real life, without computer there is no man life. Now the world situation will be like that only, because digital world only, isn't it? So digital world without computer we cannot do even shopping, whatever it is, shopping, computer based bill or everything, we are depending on the computer only. So this kind of software, so each and every computer, the relevant softwares we are using. So how the software will be developing based on this concept. So different kinds of programming languages we are using. So in the programming languages, many other subdivisions are there, different concepts are there that we are going to use to develop a software, isn't it? Then how the computer will be working, computer program and software will be working, we can see. So here a small diagram will be there. The first, the human English. Human being is interacting with their own language. Sometimes it's a local language or our mother tongue or normal English language. So after interacting the English language, by using the English language, they are writing the algorithm. So which problem they wanted to find the solution, first they should write the algorithm, isn't it? So algorithm we already explained, it's a step-by-step execution of a given problem, isn't it? So after giving the problem, should write the algorithm. After writing the algorithm, we are using any one kind of programming language. So number of programming languages are there. Many kinds of programming languages are there. So which is you are able to do, that programming language we can use it, isn't it? So programming language, the algorithm should be applied to any one programming language. The programming language, by the use of programming language, we are going to write the computer program, isn't it? So the computer program will be in English language. That we previous itself we already explained, a computer doesn't understand the English, isn't it? So what the computer will do, in between the computer and a computer program, that is user, one translator we are using. The translator will be translating human language to computer understanding format, that is called as a machine language. That is called as a machine language. The machine language will be 0 or 1. After converting the machine language, the other name of machine language is known as binary language. So after converting the binary format only, computer will be able to understand what the user will be given, isn't it? So this is the working structure for the programming language. Understand? The next concept will be how the procedure oriented programming will be. So we already in the previous class we already explained the programming paradigms. The programming paradigms means the types of programming language. So different classifications of programming languages are that we already discussed in the previous classes. So the first classification of programming languages will be 3. It's a low level programming language, middle level programming language and a high level programming language. So low level programming language means it's a very olden days we done. That means the generations of computers we already know, first, second, third and fourth, fifth, isn't it? So we are in the 5th generation computers. The first generation computers and all, how they are writing the program. From that onwards, very olden days it is. So there onwards we are using the programming language. The second generation onwards they are complete programming languages they are using, isn't it? So programming language, that is the first generation, second generation they used low level programming language. The speciality of the low level programming languages will be directly they are using the binary language. That is 0 and 1. And so we are writing, we are typing or something we are typing by using the alphabets. So instead of alphabet they are using 0, 1, 0, 1 codes. That means each and every alphabets or each and every keys of the keyboard they are having their own relevant numerical values are there. The relevant numerical values is known as a ASCII value. So ASCII value, it is always will be in a decimal format. So decimal format, you don't get confused. It's not a point number. Decimal means a 10 based number. That means a 0 to 9 combination number is known as a decimal number, isn't it? So point value means it's a decimal fraction number. And computer doesn't understand a decimal value also. What the computer will do? The decimal number they will take it and convert it to binary format, and that binary code should be sent to the computer. Nowadays we are doing like that only. But olden days or low level programming language, directly they are using the binary language. And by using the low level programming language, slight difficult, and then some code will be remembering the code, that is a very difficult. For example, A is having number of digit combination, that means 0 1 0 1 0 1, some 8 to 10 digit combination, it is represented by A. Like that B, C, D, all the alphabets. So remembering each letters, numbers, code is a very difficult in the low level programming language. So that they wanted to find the solution for this, they invented the second generation of programming language is known as a middle level programming language. So middle level programming language onwards we are going to started to use the algorithm concept. So algorithm concept is always depending on the numerical values and alphabet letters. So with the help of group of alphabets, they will make a command and they are using or writing the program. So that is a middle level programming language. Then middle level programming languages is also having some problem, and scientific problems are they are unable to find the solution easily, and making error or debugging error or correction of error, that is a slight difficulty. So that they wanted to make it little more easy. So that they invented the last generation of programming language, that is called as a high level programming language. So nowadays we are using the different kinds of high level programming language, isn't it? So the first chapter we already explained object oriented programming concept. So object oriented programming language and procedure oriented programming language is the example for high level programming language, isn't it? So this is the generations for the language. So now we are in the high level programming language. In the high level programming language, two concepts is there, procedure and object oriented. These two is having more differences, different are there. Major difference will be different methodology we are using to develop a program. The first will be procedure oriented programming language. So procedure oriented programming, the another name will be structured programming language. So structured programming means the name itself giving the meaning. What do you mean by structure? Isn't it? So structure means, what do you mean by structure? Structure is some specific mode, isn't it? So if you wanted to construct a building, first we need to prepare the blueprint, the model of the building, how to design. That means the architect and they are designing the building model, and based on the model we are started to construction. So that is known as a structure. So like that, each and every computer programming, before going to start the program, we should create a structure. That is a manual processing only. How to write the program, how many variables we need, how many values we need, how to give the input, how the output will become. So that and all we are having some idea. That's the ideas we have to keep it. That means write and keep it. That methodology is known as a structure, isn't it? So why it is called as a structured programming language? So this programming language also used to develop a software, but different method we are applying. So by using the structured programming concept, one system or one software, if you wanted to develop, first we should study how the manual system will be working. For example, our school administration. So we already know school how it will be running, isn't it? So the different parts will be there in the school. Student category will be there, staffs will be there, office will be there, management will be there. So many sections are there, isn't it? So how it will be running? That means if we are going through the manual processing, we will get mad. That much of data we should collect it. So one small part we can consider how the structured programming will be working. So we are going to consider the student admission. The school, how they are doing the student admission process. So many steps will be there. First the students, which student wanted to get the admission from the school, first they have to come to the school, meet the management office, get the application form, fill the application form, and relevant documents they have to attach it, and A to Z format they have to finish it and return back the application to the office. They will check it whether they are able to admit or not. Then afterwards they will give the admission. This is a manual processing. This manual processing, how they are preparing or how they are entering the student details, so how they are filling the application form, how they are paying the fees, all the details, manual processing, we have to collect it. Complete A to Z information about the admission, you have to collect it and you have to come back and started to do the system, isn't it? Then after completion of writing program, the entire program you should finish it. Then you have to go for checking the error, whether the program is having any mistake or not. If the mistakes will be there, that should be a recovery, finding the mistakes and converting the many processing will be there, isn't it? So that is, this methodology is known as a structured programming language, isn't it? So that is only for admission. The entire school, if you wanted to computerize it, you have to collect all the informations about the school. That means A to Z information you should collect about the school. After gathering all the informations, you have to come back and sitting in front of the system and one by one you have to start and write the program and complete it, isn't it? So this is the way we are writing the structured method or procedural method programming concept. So this is compared with the object oriented programming, it is a quite difficult. That means sometimes while writing the collected information, whether it is correct or not, sometimes we may get confused, isn't it? So in between, while writing the program, in between we cannot go and clarify it. So that is a problem number one. So the whether it is correct or not, we don't know, so that we will keep it aside. We are unable to finish the program. Then if you are considering next concept or the same problem will be happening, means that will be affected to entire software developing, isn't it? So because of that, time consuming, that is more time will take to complete the software, isn't it? So they wanted to consume the time for this. That means they wanted to find the solution for consuming the time, so that they invented the next level of the high level programming language is known as a object oriented programming concept. Now the 9th standard we are studying only object oriented programming concept. So what do you mean by object oriented programming? The name itself giving the meaning what is object oriented. So object, that is a major part of the programming language is object. So what do you mean by object in English language? Normal English meaning object means anything we can consider as an object. For example, this chalk piece is an object and duster will be object, pen will be object, each student will be object, desk, table, shelves, everything. Whatever we are seeing outside, it's a living or non-living things we can consider as an object, isn't it? So that's why the object oriented programming concept will be started to use. Then the advantages over the procedure oriented language and object oriented programming, object oriented language concept will be easy method we can adopt it. That means the concept will be very easy, implementation will be very easy, less error will come, and if error will be there, easily we can recover it, finding error, recovering error, solving the problem, everything will be easy by using the object oriented programming language. So nowadays everywhere, that means if you are going to software companies, majorly the software companies and all, they are using the programming concept. Software developers, software engineers, computer programmers, they are using the programming languages, isn't it? So everywhere we can see high level programming language. In that we are seeing object oriented programming language. Then how the object oriented programming language will be implemented, we can see. So we already explained the procedural concept, that is a structured programming concept. So structured programming, once again I will explain. If you wanted to develop a software by using the structured concept, the relevant software system, that is called as a system or manual processing, the entire information we should collect first itself. Then we have to go and write the program. That is a structured method, isn't it? But object oriented method is not at all like that. So object oriented method, we are considering one particular object of a given programming language, isn't it? So the same example we can consider the school management system. In the school management system, each and every part of the school management will be considering as an object. For example, student is an object, staff is an object, the management, office section and different subjects, everything, each and every part of the school we are considering is an object, isn't it? Then how the program will be written? So one particular object we have to consider, how to divide the object, that we can decide who are going to develop the software. Only the person will be deciding how to divide the objects. So based on the object, the program will be moving. So in the school management we can consider 3-4 objects. First is student is an object, staff is an object, office department. So 3 objects we can consider. isn't it? So in these three objects, any one you should consider first. For example, I am going to just consider first office. In the office, you just focus on office only. Remaining staff or student, keep it aside. No need now, isn't it? So you just go inside the office. How the office people will be working inside it, how they are managing the data, how they are paying the fees or billing or student admission, how they are doing, each and every details, A to Z information or working information you should collect from the office. Then after completion of collecting or gathering information from the office, you just come back. Then after come back, what are the things you collected, that information you have to classify it. Classifying means while collecting the information, sometimes important data we will get it. That is, of course, we need. Okay. So sometimes unimportant data we have collected may or may not be, we can use later. For that purpose we collected. So that you have to classify which is most important, which is important, which is unimportant. So different category you have to make it and classify. After classifying the object data, should give the index. Index means sometimes important data, the same data will be repeated. Student name will be repeating or number of students will be repeating in the same class. So repeated data you should give the number. For example, in one particular class one student name will be Anusha. So Anusha, it's a student name, 5th standard. So 3 Anushas will be there. So name will be same. How we are identifying? The initial will be same, name will be same. So we can different other method we can use to identify them. So the first method will be roll number. So this roll number is known as an index. So indexing the data means this repetition of data will be there. For identifying purpose we are giving the index number, isn't it? So that is a classifying section. The next alphabetic orderly, the important or collected data you should be order it. That is known as a sorting. Sorting means to arrange the data in a alphabetical order, ascending or descending method, isn't it? So after that calculation, so many process will be there and how the data will be flowing. So this all the contents we have to complete it. You have to go in front of the system and started to write the program only for the office section, isn't it? After completion of the writing program for the office section, you just save the program and keep it aside, isn't it? So one object will be finished. After completion of the first object, we have to go and focus to the next object like staff or student. So how many objects are there? We can consider one by one, isn't it? So after completion of all the object, we have to bind all the objects, like, isn't it? That combine it. So this object by object means one school management we are divided for 3-4 objects. So object wise we collected the data and completed the program. After completion of writing the programs of each object, this all the objects should be connected together, isn't it? After connecting it all the object together, that will called as a one software for the school management, just like a paper binding. So we are writing the project work or assignments. Assignments we are writing in a single papers. So 10 or 15 papers will be there. After writing individual papers, the paper will be binding it together. It will called as a booklet. So that is known as a object oriented programming, isn't it? So this is the way we are writing the object oriented program.